welcome back to Houston. We are in the Honda studio of the Rich Eisen Show. Pleased to be joined once again. I think this is, in a way, a tradition unlike any other. For a third consecutive year, the first guest at our Super Bowl shows is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dan Patrick. Good to see you, DP.
It's great to be here with the crew here. You know what's smattering of applause.
Hold on, let's try that one more time.
Try that one more time.
Dan Patrick is here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better there. You know, it's weird. I see your producers out a lot, usually at Super Bowls, and I see them at bars every time I go to the Super Bowl. That's the only time I ever see your producers is at bars.
What does that say for you guys?
We like to be hydrated for the long week of
research.
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Research. Yeah.
Well
researched.
Hands-on, Dan.
Well
researched.
hydrated. Yes.
Now, I'm seeing your shirt up close and personal. You do know it reads Paisley on television. Have you been told that?
I think it reads sexy on TV. Is what it reads.
I do. It's an aggressive choice for the Super Bowl to come out of the gate that way.
Yeah, it is. I made a statement. Make a statement early, and the problem was people thought that it was my wife's, and it is not.
It's very.
It could be. It could be, but it's not.
It might be.
It's not.
It could be.
It is. It's gone.
I think it's a great shirt, Dan,
Thank
if
you.
that means
and that's
anything.
where I thought, now I know I made a fashion mistake when I heard this.
There you go.
I like it.
They
I
do,
think
yeah. What did the Danettes have to say about it?
Publicly, like to my face?
Yeah.
They mocked me, and behind my
Just about
back,
to say,
they
was it
mocked
any
me too.
different?
No, it was not. Which I knew that meant it was the right shirt. It's content, Rich.
When was your first Super Bowl? What was your first one you covered, DP?
Boy, I'm trying to think. Lions and Bengals in Detroit. That was when they had the terrible rainstorm and
They had the Silverdome, the 49ers.
Yeah, they
and
had the goal line stand with.
Oh, that's right.
With Dan Buns, I think was the linebacker for the Niners.
Right.
And
Hacksaw was he the?
I don't.
I do remember but that was like Collinsworth's first.
Collinsworth was in the Super Bowl
with Kenny Anderson.
Archie Griffin, I think, had a couple of bad kickoff returns where he fumbled. But it was Montana. Montana beat the Bengals twice.
Yes.
And growing up in Cincinnati, I was a Bengal fan. And Montana, in their two closest Super Bowls, beat Cincinnati both times.
Isn't that just? I mean, that's kind of like, in a way, Patrick Ewing and Karl Malone coming to the fore at the wrong time.
But you're also,
right?
I looked at it as, let's say you're an actor. Oh, that's right, I am.
You are, yeah.
But
I was about to say.
But if you're going to lose an Academy Award, don't you want to lose to Daniel Day-Lewis or De Niro? So we lost Super Bowls to the greatest quarterback, or at the time the greatest quarterback of all time. It's not like you lost to Trent Dilfer. You were losing to...
Is that a shot?
It wasn't meant as a shot. I'm just saying that, as quarterbacks go, Joe Montana would be a little better than Trent Dilfer.
Well, Dilfer likes to remind Marshall Faulk all the time that he was the WAC offensive player of the year at Fresno when he was, doing his thing at San Diego State.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
No,
but I mean,
I didn't like the fact that we lost to the Niners, but you lost to Joe Montana. Made it a little bit easier.
Right. Where do you stand on the Montana-Brady of it all? The fact that Brady has 4, he could have 5, but the fact that Joe has 3, never lost, his numbers in the Super Bowl are comparable, but there's a 0 in the loss column.
What if Brady is now loses and goes to 4-3 instead of 5-2?
Right.
Is it that fine of a line between greatest quarterback of all time when you have 5, or if you have 4 but you've been to 7 of these? That's where it's hard. I think it's apples to oranges, because it comes down to when they played, style of offenses. Montana never threw for 30 touchdown passes in a season, but he was a great. You could be a field general and also be a great passer. And that's what I thought Joe was. Whereas Bart Starr was a great field general, or Bob Greasy, a great field general. They weren't necessarily great passers. Montana was a great passer, but he was also a field general. Brady is both of those as well, but Joe was doing it at a different time. I do think Brady, with what he's done, given the skilled position players around him, is the most remarkable thing through all of this, that he doesn't have all-pro running backs. His all-pro tight end is not even playing. You take a guy off the scrap heap in Hogan. You get a converted quarterback in Edelman. It's just remarkable who they put in there. You know, LeGarrette Blount was cast off by the Steelers after he walked off the sideline during a game. And it's somehow they make it work. But yes, and it's a tribute to Belichick as well. But Brady's the one who has to make it work when you put the pieces out there on the field. No matter how great Belichick is, Brady still has to put it in play. And, you know, the tipping point would be that. He's done more. He never had the greatest receiver of all time in Jerry Rice. You know, Brady does more with less than anybody.
You
in
could
the
even say
history
they
of the
didn't even
game.
have a John Taylor also.
No.
I mean, you could even continue down that path.
Roger Craig.
We will never see someone with 7 Super Bowls on their resume as a quarterback again. I mean, think about it, Dan. Aaron Rodgers, let's just put everybody that's in the class of elite. We'll throw in Flacco. Just how many times...
Do they even have 7 appearances together?
I'm just saying, like, Aaron Rodgers couldn't get back there again, even though he was red hot this year. Ben Roethlisberger's been in 3. He just came 4 quarters shy of his 4th. Eli's been in 2.
Russell Wilson's 28. He's been in 2.
You got Breeze. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, when are we going to see somebody, even if Dak Prescott becomes the guy that all the Cowboys fans think, 7?
Yeah.
7 in 15 years? It's incredible. We will never see. I think we could safely say we will never see something like that.
And who's
again.
to say he wouldn't do it next year as well?
8th.
Yeah. Because they, you know, it's interchangeable parts there, and somehow. Remember when Brady's problem was his offensive line? Like a year ago, he didn't have a good offensive. Like we keep saying, oh boy, the end could be near, and
right.
But it just somehow works. But I'm curious if it's a package deal, is Belichick going to want to groom the next Brady? Does he say, when you go, I go? Do they do 2 more years or 3 more years and then that's it? That's what I'm curious about. Is the next reincarnation of the Patriots 2.0, is it Jimmy Garoppolo, or is it somebody we're not even factoring in right now?
Well, I mean, you could say that these Patriots are like already on a 6.0, right? But just have the same quarterback and coach. The first, when we were here for that Super Bowl against Carolina, just think about it. Antoine Smith was their running back. Troy Brown. We could go down David Patton. David Givens.
Yep.
I mean, now look at who they have here. It's a totally different cast, with the exception of, obviously, some of the coaches. And it is remarkable. But here we are falling into the same trap again, that there's another team
talking
playing
about
in the
the
Super Bowl.
Patriots,
I know, you know, I mean.
But if you're the Falcons, you want this. Don't get caught up in nobody's giving us any credit. You know, if you get caught up in that, you're making a big mistake. Because to go through Super Bowl week without any stupid things being said, bulletin board material, is really important. Because I've been involved in probably 30 Super Bowls, and there's always somebody who says something, and it becomes bigger than what it needs to be. I don't need Devontae Freeman to say, you can't stop our running backs. I don't need any of that stuff. I mean, they're fortunate that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones don't say much. People aren't seeking out Dan Quinn for a quote. They're fortunate, I think, going into this game. If you win, you'll get all the attention. Well, you probably won't, because it'll be, what went wrong with the Patriots? How could they lose? Did Deflategate have anything to do with it? Yes.
4-3.
But you're going to win if you win a Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And I think if you get caught up in, like somebody tonight with media night, you just don't want somebody to go, no, nobody's giving us a chance. You know, our offense is the greatest offense in the NFL by far, and you're going to go down a dangerous road there.
Dan Patrick here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you think is going to happen on Sunday? You're the first one I'm asking this, and I know this is content for your show later on in the week. That'll be appearing on tomorrow. But
I think when it comes to great offenses and great defenses, I always go defense, always.
So you're going with the Patriots then?
Yeah, but I don't want to. Because, but it's not because I don't like what the Patriots do. I'm fascinated with what they do.
Right.
And in this day and age, to not appreciate that, you know, you have to be jaded to not. I just like to see the Falcons is an interesting story, and it's a refreshing new story for the NFL. That's the only reason why I would like to see Atlanta win, that it's different. New England winning is New England winning. do we add something? What are we adding here?
Another trophy in their case.
Yeah, which you don't.
And I know what you're saying in that regard, but like I said, we've never seen anything like it, and I don't see any. Who's in the AFC is going to come out of?
I thought the Steelers could have been a better team. They didn't show it, but I give credit to New England. Pittsburgh wasn't ready for a big moment. Their kids didn't play well. Their young wide receivers.
Well, also Le'Veon Bell's groin injury that nobody that either if it was lingering, it sure didn't look it against the Dolphins or against the Chiefs when he was toting it 30 times.
I thought the Steelers were the best team in the AFC. I thought they were going to win I thought they were going to the Super Bowl. But if you don't have home field advantage and you're not going to beat New England there, I thought that they had all of the elements to beat them. And even in the NFC, with the Falcons, I thought it was Green Bay's year, but Green Bay got off. Green Bay didn't have home field advantage. You're not going to beat Atlanta on that fast track. But if you look at the AFC and where we are in the future of the AFC the next couple of years, is Pittsburgh that team? Who else is there that you go, can Denver regroup? Is Oakland going to be for real? Kansas City always feels like they get to a certain point and find the banana peel. I don't know, can Baltimore regroup? Like, who is there? If you said right now who'd be the favorite, New England's going to be the favorite next year.
I think so, too.
Right?
I've got Dan Patrick here, a couple more minutes left with DP here. Ask DP the poll question. That's on our app.
All right, Dan, which team of the Brady-Belichick Patriots have faced in the Super Bowl is the best? 01 Rams, 07 Giants, 11 Giants, 14 Seahawks, this year's Falcons.
Wow.
Yeah.
We omitted the Eagles because they would have, clearly won this.
Yeah, they're
not in there.
And then the Panthers were
Carolina's
eliminated.
not in there.
Jake Delhomme.
Yeah.
Boy, that Seattle team was good.
It was, wasn't it?
Boy, they were good.
And then the Rams' greatest show on turf.
Yeah, and I wonder if New England. Now the rules have changed. Can New England do that?
Beat the crap out of the Rams.
Yes. Their wide receivers.
Do that to Devontae
Julio
Freeman.
Yes. Can they do that? I'm curious if that's the mindset. You almost take the Seattle Seahawks mindset of how many flags are you going to throw in our secondary? Because you may throw one out of every 5, but that gives us an advantage.
It's like the bad boy Pistons. Just keep fouling, and then eventually.
And that's what I wonder.
It'll be accepted.
Having seen those Super Bowls, man, that Giants defense was just spectacular.
2007?
Yes, they were spectacular.
4 sets of hands in the dirt, and they were able to hunt Brady.
And you didn't have to
play
blitz.
Defense.
You did not blitz.
They didn't have to scheme their way to Brady at all in that game. So that's what you go with?
Asante Samuel catches that ball, though.
Yeah.
It's all over, right?
I think Seattle is the best team that I saw because I think Russell Wilson was unstoppable that night. We obviously had the interception there, but they had everything you wanted, But Brady was spectacular against that secondary. But Seattle was a whole lot of fun.
Says a lot that you chose a team that they beat as the best team that they've seen. What's the results?
As always, Dan is right on the money. The 2014 Seahawks, 50% so far.
Wow, there you go.
They were. I was there at field level, and to watch Wilson. New England had no answer for him.
Right.
None. I was fascinated with watching him, and he was on the cusp of. He wins that. He's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, I think so already. You post 2 in the first 4 years of your career, 3 years.
Now all of a sudden you're thought of as a Hall of Famer. A lot of times guys will get to the tail end of their career, and then you think of them as a Hall of Famer. Russell Wilson would have been thought of as a Hall of Famer 4 years into his career.
Well, at least he's got some time left.
And that would have been
there.
back-to-back, right, for Seattle?
It would have. Before I let you go,
and then he married Sierra.
Yes.
So
and now look at him.
Now he is all.
He's already in.
Yeah,
he's got the jacket.
He got a different trophy. It wasn't the Lombardi trophy.
Speaking
it wasn't
of
this one.
This one that you got right there.
The one I'm not supposed to touch.
You touched it again. Careful.
Is this the one I handed out?
It could be.
To Tom?
It could be. Careful. You don't have the gloves on. So how awkward will it be on that podium?
It won't be.
See, but now, because they don't have to talk to each other.
They don't talk.
But they don't shake hands. It's
going to be awkward for the commissioner and Kraft.
Right.
They talk.
But they've talked since this has happened.
Yes, but it's he's already said that
if Brady's the MVP the next morning,
yes.
Oh my gosh, that's
Monday
awkward
morning
city.
is going to be great content.
But you've handed this trophy out on a podium. I mean, it's
Three
a small.
times.
It's about 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah. But Brady would be up there as
Yes.
the MVP, and they'd have to say hello to each other, right? I mean, that's the one awkward moment right there, right? Or does
But
he
it's so
put him on the
quick.
pay no mind list?
I don't even know if it would be, because the commissioner comes up, his job is, I introduce the commissioner, he takes the microphone, hands the trophy to the owner of the winning team.
Now
And
you
then
give
that's
up,
it.
you relinquish the control of the
No,
microphone, or
no, I hold.
It's a two-handed
You hold on to
situation.
it.
It's like Jimmy
Never-
Johnson and Jerry Jones with the trophy.
Never give up the microphone on the podium. Now, who's the Steve Tisch, one of the Giants owners?
Yeah.
Giants win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm saying, when Giants owner Steve, all of a sudden I'm Tisch, and I got the microphone. He grabs it, so he's got a hold of my hand, and you could I'm fighting him on the podium in front of 100 million people. He wants the microphone.
You're not doing
I
it.
can't give it up.
It's not your first
And
rodeo.
so he's pulling it. I'm pulling back, trying to make sure he doesn't get the microphone.
A true tug of war.
And, finally he realizes I'm not giving up this damn microphone. My producer is in my ear and says, whatever you do, don't give up the effing microphone. So I'm in front of 100 million people, and all I go, don't give up the effing microphone. Yeah, so it's like this, and then I'm bringing it back like this, and I refuse to give up that microphone. And, then you get done, and I'm worn out. I'm like, did aerobics up here with this guy just to try to do that. The commissioner tried to take the microphone last year, or last time I handed it out. You can see him clutching my hand.
Oh no.
The move to try to get the microphone. So it's one of those that being in the moment, don't give up the microphone ever.
Good to have you here, DP.
It's great to be here, and always great to see your guys.
Right
And,
back at you.
Happy for the success.
Thank you. Always appreciate it. Thank
Once
you.
again, don't touch that trophy.
And I will see you tomorrow.
Whatever you. I have an Italian mother where she always point to food to try, but she always touches it.
Are you
Do
still
it like
touching the
cheese.
trophy?
Like she'll go, you
You're
should
gonna
try
knock
this
it
cheese
over.
here.
Oh,
and I'll go, yeah, if you stop touching it, I'll try that cheese there. So there's that trophy right there. Do not touch that, whatever you do.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.